First of all, thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity to tell about Humanitas University and the medical programs we offer. So, Humanitas University, as Dr. Moshe Cohen mentioned, is based in Milano. And just to give you a brief introduction, we started as an independent university in 2014. Alongside an important hospital, which is now which is the university flagship hospital, which is the Humanitas Hospital, is a big hospital based in the southern outskirts of Milano, which offers more or less all the clinical specialties. As a university, we started in 2014, but the cooperation of Humanitas with the university started in more or less in the year 2000, where was hosted in Humanitas Hospital one of the medical program of the University of Milano, and more specifically, the University of Milano started its first medical program in English in the Humanitas and cooperating with Humanitas Hospital. Okay, this was a video. Oh, sorry. This was a video to give you an introduction. And let's say the main concept I want to give you that the Humanitas is an institution which works in the education, of course, since we have the university, in the clinical activities, but also is very important the research. Here I'm talking from a campus where there is one of the main research institute of Italy, especially in the field of immunology. Actually, with also since you told that Israeli like Italians, and also the other way around, with also Italians like Israeli with many connections with Israeli research centers, starting from Weizmann Institute. Two medical programs, not only one. One they are both taught in English. The admission test is for both in English. This is important to say. One is we call medicine surgery, is a pure medical program. The second one is a medical program of its kind, in the sense that there is embedded in the medical program and a bachelor biomedical engineering program. And this program is offered in cooperation with an important engineering school in Italy, which is called Politecnico di Milano. And students at the end of the 6 years, this is the main concept, will achieve a medical degree which will be issued by Humanitas University, but they also will achieve a bachelor biomedical engineering degree, which will be released by Politecnico di Milano. And these students will spend some semesters at Humanitas University and other semesters at the Politecnico Milano. Of course, it's a program for a certain kind of medical students. The could be an opportunity, of course, could be another possibility, provided that the students feel comfortable in studying quantitative subjects such as math, physics, of course, and technology, of course, at an engineering level. This is postgraduate, let's say, education. And what I would like to stress in this is that at the moment are opened at Humanitas Hospital 20, was 15 in the video, but now we achieved 22 residence program. And all our students, together as other students, can benefit from this program after the graduation. Of course, this is what I mentioned before about the medtech, which is done in cooperation with Politecnico. You will achieve two degrees. This is an important features that we use for educating students, and this is a simulation center. Of course, the main element of any professionalizing activities are the wards of the hospital and the patients. But also we use these simulation centers, which is a quite advanced one, and which is in the basement of the university, and where we can more or less simulate, if not all, but many clinical scenarios. We start to use the simulation center as we start the professionalizing activity in the hospital from the 3rd year. So the overall program, medical program in Italy, in Humanitas University, is 6 years. You have 2 preclinical years, and from the 3rd year, you start also what is called professionalizing activities, which is hospital with patients, and is also simulation center. For accessing a medical program, there is an admission test to sit, as also Dr. Moshe Cohen mentioned before. Next admission test round, we don't have the exact date at the moment, but we will be January, February. So just at the end of your preparation course, of your foundation course. And we have, at the moment, we have what we call the UMA test. UMA test is a test which is a component of 2 parts, 60 questions in totals. 30 questions are, the overall test is based on logic and reading comprehension. What we call scientific thinking at the end of the story are logic questions, and what we call academic literacy, it's reading comprehension, which is very much in the style of the IELTS test, if you are familiar with it, which is a language test, and is very much similar to the reading module of the IELTS test. And using IELTS to prepare this part is a very good idea. Of course, we have student services, library, canteen, sports facilities, counseling if students need counseling. But I would like to stress that we have also USMLE preparation courses. We find this very important. Consider that about 40% of our students are not Italian. They come from everywhere in the world, including US, and also other students who wants to go after the graduation to US. USMLE is a compulsory. So we train our students starting from the 4th year to sit the USMLE test. I know it's also important for Israeli students because it's a way to have the national habilitation. You can present USMLE rather than your own national test. Also important to say one thing. Of course, during the 6 years, there is the possibility to do experience abroad. This can be experience in the lab. This can be experience in the hospital wards. Of course, this can include also experience in the Israeli hospitals. which I know for many of you it's very important, but also can be further experience done in from USA to Southern Korea, where we have an extended network of hospital and labs with which we are cooperating. There is another one important thing I would like to say, and there is a you know, the clinical program in Italy, the medical program in Italy are set first of all to create clinicians. People that after the graduation are intended to go and work in the hospitals. But anyway, as I mentioned, we are here not only in a big hospital, but also in an important research center. And we believe that some attention should be devoted to the research too. And so within the medical program and also within the medtech program, there is a voluntary, let's say, extra sub program, let's call it like this, that is called Virgilio program. This means that only for students who want to join, these students will have an extra training in the research lab. The students will attend some extra courses to go more in deep in the typical research subject, I don't know, such as molecular biology, genetics, biochemistry, medicinal chemistry, and they will do these additional courses with the PhD students. Since also here at Humanitas University, we are running 2 PhD programs. It's not compulsory, of course. It's something that can be must be chosen, and is for those students who perhaps think of themselves not only as a clinicians, but also like a research physician. Also important to say, going more to let's say an administrative point, it's important to say that Humanitas University grants specific scholarships for EU students, but we have specific scholarships for non-EU students. These scholarships are granted on a combination of ranking position in the test, so the position, your score and your position in the test, interview with the professor commission, and we use multiple interviews. And also let's say general background curriculum of the students, which is intended to also to highlight the motivation of the students for the medical studies and for the university. Once you get this university, the scholarship is almost full scholarship. You will have to pay only, if you get the scholarship, couple of €1,000 per year as a tuition, and you can keep it until you will complete your 6-year studies, the 6-year program. Keeping, I mean, you must be, let's say, good students and motivated students. It is for sure, but it's not so hard. Let's say you don't have to be kind of, you know, Albert Einstein in the medical in the medical field. A good students, motivated students, normally keep this scholarship until the conclusion of the program. So more or less, I think I gave you the main coordinates of what we are doing here at Humanitas, and I of course available and happy if you address me all the questions you would like to ask.
Thank you very much. Let's start with questions. International students, do they need to learn Italian language for the clinical years?
It's important to learn Italian for the clinical years. We provide intensive Italian classes to all non-Italian students. Normally, it works like this. The classes start early October, but since the beginning of September, and it's running while I'm talking to you, we have this induction program. Induction program is a program where intended to, first of all, to equalize the competencies, the knowledge of our students in the field of biology, chemistry, and physics, but also is intended to provide intensive Italian classes to non-Italian students, and to support our non-Italian students with all, let's say, the catch-up process with Italy, bureaucracy, helping to find accommodation, and all these things. But to go back to the questions, yes, is important. And we train during the 6th year the students in Italian. For the time being, anyway, there is no a specific exam on Italian. But for my experience, I can tell you that all Israeli students are able to speak a very good Italian in a couple of years. When they go in the wars, they already have a good command of Italian, and when they finish, they speak very fluent Italian.
Thank you. Does the university provide accommodation?
The university, there is a student house at the university. So yes, there is the possibility to stay in the campus. There is no, at the moment we have expansion plans, there is no rooms for all the students, but we try to help first international students, especially international students in the first years of the university programs.
Thank you. There are several questions here about the scholarship. How can we get the scholarship? What are the chances to get a scholarship? How many scholarships do you provide per year? Maybe you can address this.
Yes, I will go more in deep in the scholarship. So the process is this: every year when we issue the call for the test, at the same time we make a call for the scholarships. If we are talking about non-EU students, we expect to have at our test more or less about 350 students. If you manage to rank within the first 20 positions, you will be considered for the scholarship. There will be an interview with we use the multiple mini interviews technique with a commission of professors belonging to Humanitas University, but also, let's say, international experts in medical education. At the end of the story, based on you have to send us your CV. Based on the CV evaluation, get a score. The interviews get a score. In the test position, get a score. On the basis of those scores, an overall score is created. And if you are among the first, let's say normally we have five scholarship for non-EU students. If you are in the first 5 position, you get one of these scholarship. It is easy. It is difficult. For sure, it is easy to get the scholarship if you are non-EU students rather than you are EU students. This in just as a ratio between the number of scholarship and the number of applicants. Once you get the scholarship, it's not that difficult to keep it until you complete the your program. Yes.
Do you can you speak more about the clinical rotations? How many clinical rotations we are able to do abroad, and can we also do them in the States?
So when I'm talking normally, clinical rotation starts at the 3rd year. You do 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. The number of rotation, the number of hours you spend in the hours will increase during your years. Since you arrive to the 6 years, consider that in the 6 years you have just few classes, and you will spend lots of time, almost vast majority of your times in the hospital, a few times in the university. It is possible to do extra rotation in abroad. Yes, this is possible for us students. It is possible also every year, normally starting from the 3rd year. Of course, I use the word extra, which means that normally our students in summertime or in the months of February, they go from 4 weeks to 8 weeks to do extra rotation. And this extra rotation can be done in Israel It can be done in United States, can be done in Canada, can be done in Germany, can be done in UK. And also in some other very good hospitals of Italy, like if you like pediatrics, we have strong relations also with Bambino Gesù in Rome, or with other important hospitals of Italy. If you mean by say, can I do my rotation abroad, the compulsory rotation, what should be done as a part of your medical program, this is possible, but this must be agreed with our professor, and we are doing an effort to grant our students, a certain number of our students, the possibility to do at least once in the fourth medical years, the possibility to do, for instance, a full rotation semester in their own country. In your case, in Israel.
About the entrance exam, can I do the entrance exam more than once a year?
Yes, the entrance exam is intended to give anyone 2 chances in a year. So we will have 2 entrances exam, and you can sit both. And I advise students to sit both the exams. And for the entrance, we will consider the higher score between the 2 exams that students have sat.
Thank you. Can you speak a bit about common expenses? How much should we expect with accommodation, rent, etc.?
Yes, I mean, Israeli students, which actually I like, because they are very motivated and they are mature. This is to tell why I did this introduction, because it pretty much depends on what you ask and where you want to place yourself. Of course, if you want to stay in the center of Milano, in a nice area, you will spend for a room, let's say 500-600 euros per month in a shared apartment. While if you stay in the university neighborhood, with this money, you can take a full apartment for you. Of course, if you stay in the student house gives you a lot of services, like a gym, like a dog keeper, 24 hours per day. This could be nice, to the cleaning of the room, the change of the sheets. Okay, these things might be nice to have if you wish to, but of course then they have a cost. So perhaps the student house will not be the cheapest possibility. For young students coming here, 18, sometimes also 17, I very much try to address them to the student house. Say, go there because you are covered, you are protected. But since you are a mature student, since you come here after a very tough military service, I don't think you need those things, right? So you can rent an apartment. You are very motivated students in this area of Milan, in the outskirts of Milano. Then whenever you want to go, you take a bus, you go in the city center. I think your main goal is to study here, and around here is not that expensive. If you want a room in a shared apartment, you can pay 300 euros per month. If you want a small apartment only for you, since you are a little bit older than a student who is 18, you will pay, I don't know, let's say 500-600 euros per month.
And again about okay, so someone sent a link to the dormitories prices. Okay, good. How safe it is to live in Milan for students?
It is safe. It is safe. Milano is not a city who has a major problem with micro criminality, people who try to rob you, people who try to steal you. It's a safe city. Of course, it's a big city, and zero risk, you know better than me, doesn't exist. But it's not a city which has major crime issues. You can move freely in the night. You can go in the bars and nothing happens.
Where do the students come from in the world?
Yes, international students come from. I told you about 40% of our students. They come from United States and Canada, say North America. We have a good group of students from Israeli. Of course, we have a good group of students from Europe, which means mainly Germany, Northern Europe, UK. If you want to consider UK in Europe or not, I don't know. But we have a group of students from UK, from Southern Europe, like Greece, and then we have a good group of students also from India.
Is it more difficult to get accepted as a European or a non-European?
As a European. As a European, just because of the ratio between demand applicants and places available.
And if I have European citizenship, do I have to apply with it, or can I apply with my Israeli citizenship?
No, unfortunately, because of national regulation, you will have to apply with the European nationality.
But it's the same exam, only more difficult to get in?
Yes, absolutely the same exam. You do the exam in the same time, the exam is totally the same. It's more difficult only for this reason. We have a quota which is set every year by the ministry. For non-EU, you get 50 places and 350 person trying the test. For EU, you get 130 places for 2,000 people trying the test. It's just a matter of mathematical ratio. The test is completely the same. And you do the test in the same dates.
If I did the exam in February, when will I know if I'm a medical student in Humanitas? When will I know if I passed?
You will know just after the second test. So it's, if we say we set a test in the first test in February and the second test in May, you will know just after the test of May. If we set the first test in February and the second one in March, you will know just after the second test in March.
And you encourage students to do both attempts, February
Yes.
and March, or?
Yes. We encourage students to do both tests because unless you don't score the highest possible score, then it's not possible to go up. But yes, because you give yourself more chances. Why not? The price is the same.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Students, do you have more questions to Michelangelo? How different is the test from the regular IMET?
The regular IMAT is like our MedTech test. The regular IMAT is a combination of biology, chemistry, physics, math, and a little bit of what they call general culture. They ask you about if you know who was Picasso or Dostoevsky, these kind of questions. We have a similar test for the MedTech, which our MedTech test is based on math, physics, biology, with in critical thinking, but with a predominancy of science and in particular of math. And the IMAT is more or less the same. So it's a science-based question at the end of the story. Our UMAT test is at the moment based on the second part. Academic literacy is based on English comprehension. So it's at the end of the story, test the ability of the students to read a passage at an academic level, while the first part is based on logic. So at the moment, there is no science in the UMAT test. And we did this at the moment because the background of our students is very, very different. Perhaps we will change it in the next coming years. But for the time being, the UMAT test is based on logic and, let's say, English knowledge at the end of the story.
What is the learning system? Is it hybrid or by blocks?
You mean hybrid in which sense?
Like, do you study only one topic each time, or do you study topics together in the university?
It's more topics together. We go more with a vertical approach.
Okay. Students, do you have more questions? Okay, so thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being here.